today's video, we are going to look at a common question that are raised nowadays by candidates. Candidates do ask, is there any PG quota in AIIMS? Is there any PG quota in JIPMER? If I study MBBS in AIIMS, do I get a special reservation? Do I study MBBS in JIPMER? Do I get a special reservation? If there is a special reservation, how many seats are reserved? Is it easier to get through this? Right? These kind of questions do come from candidates. The candidates want to understand what are the advantages of studying in a central institution like AIIMS or JIPMER. Now let's look at in this video, right, what is the kind of reservation or what is the kind of institutional preference given to candidates who are graduating from either AIIMS or JIPMER. First, we will talk about the institutional preference within AIIMS. Now, one thing you need to understand, if you want to get an institutional preference or commonly known as PG quota, a candidate must have studied and obtained MBBS degree from the same AIIMS. Okay, remember this, from the same AIIMS. That means if you study in AIIMS Delhi, you graduate from AIIMS Delhi, you get preference in AIIMS Delhi. If you graduate from AIIMS Rishikesh, you do your MBBS in AIIMS Rishikesh, then you get preference only in Rishikesh. நீங்க ஒருவேளை தமிழ்நாட்டில இருந்து AIIMS மதுரையில படிக்கிறீங்கன்னா AIIMS மதுரையில மட்டும் தான் உங்களுக்கு preference இருக்கும். Right? So understand that the preference comes only to that particular AIIMS institution. It's not for all the AIIMS. Just by studying in one AIIMS, you don't get preference in all the say 19 AIIMS. You don't get that. You get only for that particular college. Second point, you must fulfill the eligibility for unreserved candidates. So you should at least score 50 percentile and clear the exam, right? That's the minimum. You should have qualified at least as an unreserved candidate. You may be a reserved candidate, that's fine. Okay, you may be OBC, you may be SC, you may be ST, but your mark should be in at par with unreserved candidates. You should have qualified under the unreserved requirements, then only you will be eligible for institutional preference. Now, what are the other conditions? How many seats will be given reservation? Because again, there is a lot of confusion between candidates. People very carelessly say 50% of seats are reserved for PG quota, right? That's not true. You need to understand what do they mean by 50%. The first point, maximum of 50% of MBBS seats will be available as institutional preference. That means if in one college there are 100 MBBS seats, then only 50 candidates can avail the PG quota. That means not all the MBBS graduates can go through the institutional preference. Maximum 50% of the candidates only can be admitted through institutional preference. That is the first condition. Second condition is the total PG quota for institutional preference shall not exceed 50% of the total unreserved seats. For example, if there are 50 unreserved PG seats in a college, then you cannot give more than 25 seats to a institutional preference candidate. Now, when we talk about MBBS seats, when I said 100 seats, out of 100 seats, 50% can get reservation. When I say MBBS seats, it's not the current batch. You should look at 5 years before, right? For example, if 2022 session, July 2022 admission, you should look at the 2016 MBBS batch. 2016 MBBS batch will be graduating in 2022 and they will be getting into the PG. So you need to look at 2016, what was the MBBS intake. Now the college might have increased the number of seats. In 2016, there may be only 50 seats. Now it might have been increased to 100 seats. So when you do the calculation, you should look at 2016, what was the MBBS number. Okay, that's important. Now this may be very confusing. So I did a small example for you for illustration so that you can clearly understand. So AIIMS Bhopal, I have taken AIIMS Bhopal as an example. First, let's look at in 2016, what was the MBBS intake? In 2016, 100 students were admitted, right? Now 100 students were admitted. So as we discussed, the reservation cannot exceed more than 50% of the MBBS intake. So that's the first condition. That means 50% of MBBS intake is what? 50 candidates. So not more than 50 candidates can be given reservation. First point. Second point, let's look at how many total PG seats are available in Bhopal. There are only 54 seats available in Bhopal. Then let's look at how much unreserved seats are available. For that, you need to look at the 200-point roster, and then you have to find out what is the distribution. Now you can see here, out of the 54 seats, 24 seats are unreserved, 5 seats are EWS category, 14 seats under OBC, 8 seats SC, and 3 seats ST. Now what is 200-point roster? I will show you later. But as of now, look at that. This is the reservation. Okay. You can look at like 27% OBC, right? 15%, 7.5%, 10%, right? That's the one. But the numbers will be slightly different. You need to look at 200-point roster to exactly find out the numbers. Now, what is the second condition? I said it should not exceed 50% of the unreserved seats. So how many seats are available? 24 unreserved seats. 50% of that is what? Only 12 seats are available, maximum for PG quota. Now you need to compare these two, and you should take the minimum to provide the reservation. So 12 seats is the minimum. That means maximum 12 candidates can be given institutional preference. Okay. Out of the 100 students from 2016 batch, maximum 12 candidates can get the reservation in the 54 seats. So that's approximately, what is the percentage? It comes to approximately about 22%. So out of the 54 seats, 12 seats can be given to institutional preference candidates. That's approximately 22%. Roughly, if you look at JIPMER and all the AIIMS, it's roughly around that number, 20%, 21, 22, right? Each college, it may vary slightly, but it is somewhere between 20 to 22%. Now let's try to understand what is this 200-point roster, right? So this is the 200-point roster published by AIIMS. You can see here the roster point, and then it will show, for example, New Delhi and Rishikesh, right? What will be the seat allotted to that particular candidate, right? Let's first look at how many seats are available. Let's look at, for example, AIIMS New Delhi. Let's take total PG seats. We have 150 seats. Now I want to find out of 150 seats, how many seats go to unreserved candidate. Now let's look at here. Then probably you should be able to find out. You come here, 150 you need to find out. 150, okay, 150 is somewhere here. So this is 150. So you need to look slightly backwards. Then this is unreserved 62. So when it comes to 150, only 62 seats are unreserved category. So that is what is shown in the table, right? So you can see here, sorry. So you can see here that out of 150 seats, 62 seats are under unreserved category. So that is how you use the 200 points system. For example, if you want to find out, say 54 seats are available in AIIMS Bhopal. If you want to find out what is the unreserved seats, then once again, you need to come to the 200-point roster system, come to 54, then look at, okay, you can see here 54, you can see here that it is unreserved 24 seats. Okay, so that's how you look at the 200-point roster system, right? That's basically because there will be some decimals, right? So we use a 200-point roster system. There is not some candidates get an advantage. For example, sometimes the calculation will come like 14.5 for OBC. Now you cannot give 15, you cannot give 14. That would be unfair for other candidates. So sometimes in some years it will be 14, in some years it will be 15. So how do you track it? You use the roster point system to track it. So that's how you look at it, right? This is again the calculation which I explained. For example, you can take AIIMS New Delhi. The total seats in 2016 were 77, 50% of that 39. And then PG seats, you can see that excluding MDS, there are 150 seats. And we looked at the unreserved seats. That means 62 seats are unreserved out of 150, and 50% of that is 31. So now we need to compare whether 31 or 39. Take the minimum, so we need to provide a maximum of 31 seats as reservation. Now in AIIMS Delhi, you can see that 77 graduates, they get 31 seats reservation. Very good. Whereas when you come to Bhopal, 100 students graduate, but only 12 students get the reservation. So it depends on the college, depends on the number of PG seats available, right? In New Delhi, the PG seats is very high, 150 seats. That's why they get a very high reservation. Whereas in Bhopal, the number of PG seats is lesser, only 54 seats. And if you have a college where there is no PG seat, that means you won't get any reservation, right? You can see here, there are only 7 colleges. In 2016, I think we had only 7 colleges. Only these 7 colleges are given the reservation. Because 2016, they don't have other colleges offering MBBS. So next year, we may see more colleges adding to this PG reservation. Okay. Now this is the percentage, as I said, 21%, 22%, right? 21%. Most of them is either 21% or 22% reserved seats. Now this is the total seats available. For example, AIIMS New Delhi, you can see that how the 150 seats we calculated. The various departments, anesthesiology, anatomy, biochemistry, biophysics, and so on. MDS is not taken in the calculation. Then DM, MCH, all those are included. So 153, 3 MDS, so 150. That's what I showed you earlier, right? Like that, every college, how many seats are offered is shown here. Now, how about JIPMER Puducherry? Do they have a roster system? Yes, they also have a roster system, right? Similarly, like say for example, if JIPMER has 100 PG seats, then you can see that institutional reservation will be 19 seats. 19 candidates can get reservation. If there are 100 seats, then 19 candidates can get reservation. If there is 101 seats, then 20 candidates will get the reservation, right? That's how you need to look at. Now let me go back to the presentation. Okay, so now let's move on. We said that it is 22%. Now when it comes to JIPMER, one advantage in JIPMER is either you study in JIPMER Puducherry or JIPMER Karaikal, you can get the institutional preference in Puducherry. Right now Karaikal, I don't think they have a PG seat allotted yet. I don't think they have a PG yet. So JIPMER Puducherry offers reservation both for JIPMER Puducherry candidate and Karaikal candidate. Whereas in AIIMS, you should have studied in the same AIIMS college. Whereas for JIPMER institutional preference, you could have studied either in Puducherry or Karaikal, right? So hopefully that information is useful. So if you study either in JIPMER or AIIMS, you get this advantage, you get a reservation in the same college where you have studied. So it's a very good option for you because you can continue your post-graduation in the same college where you have completed your graduation. That would be great, right? Yeah. Okay. So thank you. If you have any doubts, please leave your queries in the comments. I will try to address them. Thank you. Bye.